Many things right now are hinting that Sylvanas may actually be redeemed, more so than ever before, as previously we had wild speculations, but now we have the footage. Of course, we don't know what type of redemption exactly, but with the most recent developer preview, it has been more clear than ever. They said Uther will help her through the transition of reuniting with her soul, that she still has loose ends with Tyrande, and of course, the big evidence, her actually being in the trailer. Just look at her, she doesn't have any chains and seems to be on our side. So are they really going the route of redemption? First, I was a bit skeptical about this wallet, but Ridge, the sponsor of this video, sent it to me about a year and a half ago, and really, I've not used any other wallet since then. It is actually great. You can put 12 cards inside, and you can put cash here as well, and there are over 30 colors and styles you can choose from. Check out my link in the description to get a 10% discount with code DORON and get your own Ridge wallet. Sylvanas is one of the most interesting and complex characters of the entire Warcraft series, and I know what you're thinking, really? Did you actually just say that? However, and a big however, she was one of the most interesting and complex characters, but whatever she is now in all reality for those of us that follow since Warcraft 3 is just a mess, where Blizzard is literally just making up her story as they go, changing her goals, motives and characters from patch to patch, and even I, that literally make these videos for a living and keep up with the story all the time, find this just incredibly confusing. So, if you watch the latest developer preview, they sort of said, for some reason in a surprise, that Sylvanas finally realized she was being a pawn this entire time. And my immediate reaction was, duh, did you really just say that? Was this not completely obvious to everyone this entire time? Obviously, she was serving the jailer, but apparently 10 years later, this just got to her, which is why she betrayed him at the end of 9.1. Now, I know the angle they're going through, but even when explained, it doesn't really make all that much sense when you sit and think about it. If you have not followed the latest books, they sort of gave a new perspective to Sylvanas' storyline, just as they did for almost the entirety of Warcraft lore. As you know, the Ranger General was defeated and raised by Arthas. She served him, broke free, and then ultimately helped us defeat him. However, as she ended her existence after that, Sylvanas realized that instead of going to Ardenweald where she was supposed to go, she's now damned to the Maw. However, she isn't damned to the Maw because she's undead, as we previously thought all these years. The new book gave us the info that the jailer was behind everything yet again. The reason Sylvanas is destined to go to the Maw is because the jailer created Frostmourne through Primus and domination magic. As she was defeated by Frostmourne through Arthas, he split her soul in two, similar to Uther. However, somehow Zowal got to her second portion of the soul and in turn used it as a bartering chip for all these years. From the story so far, Lich King was the main agent of Zowal, but as he failed, the jailer realized, well, I have Sylvanas, she seems like a promising prospect, plus I have her soul, so I can just get her to my side. Apparently, Zowal convinced her that the universe is just set up wrong by the first ones, and that she can be his right hand to get to the Sepulchre, which is now the workshop of the first ones, and we can create this the right way so that everyone lives and dies fairly and that there is free will. She, of course, accepted and did all this crazy stuff throughout the expansions, but apparently this entire time, the reason she was damned was because the jailer kept that portion of her soul in his pocket. Now, I know what you may be thinking, Sylvanas, really? Are you actually that dumb? You didn't realize this from the start? It took you 10 years for you to figure this out, that this guy is not out for everyone's best interest? You know, the guy leading the realm of torture and just torture with spikes and chains everywhere. If he was really your ally, would he not let you just reunite with your soul? When is someone that keeps half of your soul in his right pocket actually your ally? I am aware the angle they're going with, when a soul is split, the character is completely different, so she may have not figured this out, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem unlike Sylvanas, because I always took Sylvanas as a really cunning and just intelligent character. So fast forward to 9.1, she finally realizes this, breaks free, and leaves us for half a year with a cliffhanger. However, now the developer preview was released, and if you might have missed it, almost certainly she's in the background of that one scene, and guess what? She seems to be together with us. She's obviously not in chains, it just seems to be a part of the crew. You know, the person that literally wiped out an entire civilization? Well, she's together with the heroes such as Uther and Bolvar, helping us defeat the guy that, you know, she helped escape 5 minutes ago. Now, if you missed this, there was more info provided in the interview. They said that Sylvanas, Anduin, and the Jailer are the main characters of the Shadowlands and will be key to the finale, which was obvious from the start. There is going to be a story of how Sylvanas was the right hand of the Jailer, but was now replaced by Anduin, and we'll have to figure out how to save Anduin. However, this Uther bit, to me, was really disappointing. Apparently, Uther and Sylvanas are going to have a storyline together. Blizzard says that she will be grilled for information, just as we thought. However, Uther sees common ground with her as they were both victims of Frostmourne, so for some reason, Uther is going to serve as a guide to get her through that reunion process. Uther had no one to help him, so he's going to lead her through these treacherous waters. Never mind, Uther was, you know, actually a hero, and Sylvanas burned an entire city to the ground. Now, on the other side, it isn't all too bleak, it isn't all that bad. They acknowledge that Tyrande and Sylvanas have a score to settle, and that they can't really resolve much because Sylvanas' sins are just crazy big, and there is going to be heavy interaction between the two that will lead up to the end of the Shadowlands saga. They also acknowledge that Sylvanas has to answer for her crimes, but we'll find out what type of punishment she will receive for her sins at the end. So obviously, she isn't going to just be released scot-free, but honestly, with what happened thus far, it doesn't seem like she'll be burned at the stake either. They were going with the angle of forgiveness when they had Tyrande and Elune and all that stuff talking about moving forward. Despite Elune using the Night Elves to help her sister, you know, the Night Elves that have been loyal to her for pretty much their entire existence. However, realistically, I don't see what type of heavy interaction can happen between Sylvanas and Tyrande that would resolve anything. Ultimately, the conclusion thus far is that Sylvanas is obviously not in chains, will be helping us, and Uther will even help her connect her soul, but in the end, she will face some type of punishment and she will have a crucial role in wrapping up the story and just going forward with Warcraft lore. However, the old leak that Sylvanas is going to become the new arbiter of the Shadowlands now seems more realistic than ever. Initially, this seemed like a joke like most leaks, but seriously, that would make sense as that could be the exact light punishment that they have in store for her. She would help us, we would help her get her soul back, and then she's going to be used to seal up the hole she created by becoming the arbiter of the Shadowlands, having to just go through the souls for all eternity. If this is the case, I don't even know if it would really be punishment, as she would be given a ton of power, being one of the most powerful beings in the entire universe. Nonetheless, obviously, she'll be present in 9.1, not in chains, and will be key in either freeing or defeating Anduin, and ultimately figuring out what is going to actually happen in this expansion. Thank you for watching. Check out why Shadowlands ending might be a good thing, and also check out Orlan's Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.